Hello and welcome to this digital camera magazine video tutorial. Today we're going to show you how to artifact your springtime blossom. Now we're going to start off with this picture of blossom that we've taken. First thing we're going to do is just to use the spot healing brush just to clean up a few of those specks of dust that were on the sensor. Then we're going to take a look at levels and we're going to clip those levels in. So we're going to clip into the highlights and into the shadows. That's just going to boost the contrast of the image and get a more arty look. Then going to boost the saturation, so we've got a nice lot of colour in there. Finally, we're going to just add some sharpening to that. We're then going to apply a border, and then we're going to crop and resize our image ready for printing on a predetermined size of paper. Okay, then to get started, first thing we're going to do is duplicate our background layer. So if we just make sure we click on our background layer in our layers palette, and then we can either go Control J or Apple J depending on if you're on a Mac or a PC. So you do that, we suddenly see our new layer appear. Now what we need to do is just zoom into the canvas at 100%. So if you go Control or Apple Plus, and you can tell what percentage you're zoomed in by looking down in the bottom left hand corner. At the moment I'm at 18.5%. If I just go Control Plus, you can see the percentage increase and we're then at 100%. Now if I hold down spacebar, left click on my image, I can just move around the image to the top left hand corner and we can just gauge where we are in the picture, just having a quick look at the sliders. So if we go up to the top left, we've got a bit of a blue screen with all the sky, and we can start to see all the dust scratches that were on the sensor. So what we'll do is we use a spot healing brush. You'll find that just above the clone tool. Just click once to select that, and we're looking to use the spot healing brush tool. Then go over to your dust patches, and then using your square bracket just increase or decrease the size of your brush just so that it covers the dust particle on the sensor. Then all you need to do is just click a couple of times and that'll start to remove all of those dust patches. Once you've done one little area, just hold down your spacebar and again just move across to the right, and every time you see any of those dust patches just click once just to get rid of those. So it's a little bit time consuming, but it's quite effective at removing any dust that you've got on your sensor. Okay, once you've finished that, just go Control minus or Apple minus just to zoom back out of your image, and you want it basically just about to fill the screen. So we go to about 25% there. Now what we want to do is just to apply an adjustment levels layer. So if we go over to our layers palette, click on the adjustment layers, go down to levels, and we get our familiar levels dialog window. Now the first thing we want to do is just to increase our shadows, and we're going to take our shadows up to 18, and you can see the shadows are suddenly boosted within the image. Then we're going to adjust our highlights to 180, and we're going to adjust our midtones to 1.7. So you can see here what we've done is we've given a lot more preference to our highlight areas than to our shadow areas. What that's done is just to boost some of those shadows areas within the image and give us a lot more detail within the actual flowers of the blossom. So if I just click the preview off and then back on, and you can see the effect that that's had on the image. Okay, we can just click OK there, and that'll apply the adjustment levels layer to the image. Now what we want to do is just boost a few of those pinks and the blue in the background. So if we go back up to our adjustment layers and we go down to hue and saturation, and what we want to do here is just take our saturation up to about 40. And you can suddenly see that makes all of the colours a lot more vibrant within the picture and just increases the impact of the overall saturation, gives it a more artistic look. So we'll click OK. Now what we want to do is just to flatten those down onto layer 1. So if you click on the hue saturation layer at the top, go down to your layer 1, hold down shift, click, and that'll select all 3 layers. Then go Control E, and that'll flatten those layers down into one. The final part is just to apply some adjust sharpness, just to bring out the sharpness of those petals. So we want to do that selectively. So we're going to use the lasso tool. So click on the lasso tool, make sure you've got the standard lasso tool selected, and what we're going to do is very quickly just draw around the edge of our blossom. Now this means that when we apply sharpening, we're just selectively sharpening the information around the blossom. I want to avoid the sky area. If you start sharpening the sky area as well, you'll start to introduce a lot of noise and degrade the quality of the picture. So just very carefully with the lasso tool, just do a rough outline of the blossom. When you get to the end, you can see the running ants just all around the blossom there. Now we just want to refine the edge, so we just want to feather that edge out a little bit so we don't have a harsh line in between where we're sharpening and where we're not sharpening. So just click Refine Edge at the top in the options, and we just take our smooth up to about 3. We're going to take our feather to 25 pixels, and we're going to leave our contract expand well alone. If I just click on the custom overlay color, and we can see the selected area, and the area outside of our selection has a red hue over the top. So we'll just click OK, and we now have our blossom area selected and ready for sharpening. So to sharpen, we go up to Enhance, down to Adjust Sharpness, and we want to make sure our preview window's at 100%, and as default it will be. Just pick an area that's nicely in focus, and we're going to take our amount up to 70% and our radius up to 3 pixels. If we have a look, and we can just left click on the preview and then release, and we can see the difference between before and after sharpening. We're also just going to click More Refined, and this takes a little bit longer to render, and then we can click OK, and that'll apply our sharpening to our blossom. Final step is we're just going to deselect our blossom, so go Control or Apple D, and that'll just deselect our selection. Then if we click the visibility, which is the eye just on the left of our layer, we can see the difference of before and after. And there we see we've got rid of all the dust that was on the sensor, we've boosted the shadows and the highlights, and we've increased the saturation of the blossom. So we've got something now that looks quite arty. Okay, in the next part we'll take a look at how to apply a border to this image.